Reverend Sarah.
Thich Nhat Hanh says, 4 foods are required to nourish love. They are edible food, what we put in our mouths to nourish our bodies; sensory food, what we smell, hear, taste, feel, and touch; volition, the motivation and intention that fuels us; and consciousness. This includes our individual consciousness, the collective consciousness, and our environment. This reading is from his book, How to Love. It focuses on intention. Goodwill is not enough. Your good intentions are not enough. You have to be artful. We may be filled with goodwill. We may be motivated by the desire to make the other person happy. But out of our clumsiness, we make them unhappy. Walking, eating, breathing, and working are all opportunities to practice creating happiness inside you and around you. Mindful living is an art, and each of us has to train to be an artist. Nourishing your deepest desire. The third nutriment is volition. This is your desire, your hope, your aspiration. It's the energy that keeps you alive. You want to be someone. You want to do something with your life. If you're motivated by compassion and love, your volition will give you the energy and direction to grow and become even more loving and compassionate. However, if your desire is to possess or to win at all costs, this kind of volition is toxic and will not help your love to grow. You can practice developing a strong and positive volition. You can even put your commitment in words, such as, I vow to develop understanding and compassion in me so I can become an instrument of peace and love to help society and the world. This kind of intention is based in our deepest aspiration. On the 10th anniversary of 9/11, a memorial service was led by the Progressive Interfaith Alliance of the Cape Henlopen region, including the Unitarian Church of Southern Delaware. It was raining as the people gathered, but as they began singing the second verse of Unitarian hymn number 318, We Would Be One, a rainbow appeared over the Atlantic Ocean. Photographers and reporters took notice, and within minutes the rain stopped and the sun came out. My optimistic spirit is nourished by such hopeful signs. And I confess that I actually once prayed to change the weather because my son asked me to, and the rain did stop. Not exactly a miracle, but the stuff from which we can make meaning. Perhaps there is some power in that Unitarian hymn, or in the uplifting music of Jean Sibelius. Perhaps it was those aspirational words by Unitarian minister Sam Wright, written for a convention of Unitarian Universalist youth in the early 1950s, as they merged to form liberal religious youth of the US and Canada, leading the way for the U merger in 1961. If a hymn can conjure rainbows, there's no telling what it can do in our hearts and in our lives. On the first Sunday of this new year, Reverend Sarah Lindsay led us through a ritual of setting intentions for 2022. She said these were not resolutions, but intentions for how we will respond to this year, what we will make of it. She asked us to consider the future that we want to build, to listen deeply to our heart and let ourselves begin to form the centering guidance for the year. Some of us listed our intentions that day. Speak out, balance, awe and promise, navigate toward joy, growth, gratitude, wellness, to write, love, put compassion into action, courage, renewal of spirit and deepening love, respect of self, and adapt. Unlike New Year's resolutions, these sorts of intentions are not things to keep or to break. Intentions are a matter of the heart. Roshi Joan Halifax helps us discover our heart's intention when she says, remember what your life is really about. That is, to act with integrity and respect the integrity of all those whom you encounter. Remember that your intention is to help others and serve others and open your heart to the world. Your motivation keeps you on track, morally grounded, and connected to your highest values. In both Judaism and Islam, a spiritual activity such as prayer requires right intention, lest the spoken words fall to the ground lifeless. Without devotion and understanding, religious practice is like a body without a soul. And still, there are times when specific intentions need to be declared publicly. The first step in taking the Hajj, or the pilgrimage to Mecca, is to declare your intention. Dilshad Ali said of her experience, if you're serious enough about going on a pilgrimage to declare your intention, then you'll find that often enough things will just fall into place. So whether you're undertaking something as potentially life-transforming as a pilgrimage, or for that matter, starting a diet, it can be important to declare your intention out loud and publicly. And to model this today, I want to declare an intention. I've been thinking of a sort of local pilgrimage, and I have decided, and I announced this publicly, to walk from Cape May to High Point, the length of New Jersey, before the end of the summer of 2022. There, I said it. I hope you will help to keep me on track. Ask me about it from time to time. In the Buddhist tradition, one of the 8 practices of the Noble Eightfold Path is called right intention. It's also known as right thought, right resolve, or right aspiration, or the exertion of our own will to change. You see, transformation doesn't just happen. It comes by way of intention. Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us there is a difference between positive intention, toxic intention, and good intentions. Even the best intentions are insufficient. Our intentions must always be followed by skillful action. In my sense of it, there are 2 kinds of intention. One is a vow. An individual can declare personal intention by making a vow or a promise. And the second kind of intention is a covenant. It needs at least 2 parties because it's a shared intention. In the myth of the flood in the Bible, the rainbow is the sign of a vow made by God never again to destroy the earth by water. In the life of USR, the rainbow is a sign of our vow to welcome and celebrate the presence and participation of LGBTQIA+ people. We have unilaterally declared that intention in our welcoming congregation statement. At USR, we also have a covenant declaring our intention for how we will live and grow together. We may not always live up to that intention, but the covenant is a promise to strive together to fulfill it. Now, in a few weeks, you will hear about an invitation to declare your intention in a very specific way. At USR, we call it the Pledge Drive. And our theme this year is Grow Back Stronger. You might hear some political resonances in that theme. Bob Shoemaker, Ira Mendelsberg, and I came up with it, and the board approved it. Nobody else gets to vote. USR has no filibuster. So Grow Back Better is our theme. Not this. It's not make USR great again. We are not looking backward to imagined glory days. We're not wishing that we were 40 years old again. We are not declaring that things used to be so good and they're terrible today. What we are doing is declaring our intention to recover from the constrictions of COVID and to surpass the pandemic in ways that make us stronger than ever. There are many ways to grow back stronger. A churchy way of talking about intentional support of a congregation's mission is time, talent, and treasure. You can declare an intention to be generous and fulfill it by a combination of financial support, delivering meals, volunteering in other ways. People have actually given a car. Used cars are actually very valuable right now. They've donated the use of their vacation home or perhaps an apartment in Manhattan for the service auction. They have signed up to host a Zoom meeting that brings people together. Again, if you will, let me declare a personal intention here. I vow to push and plead until we approach 100% participation in Grow Back Better, Grow Back Stronger. I'm sorry, let me get the phrase right. Grow Back Stronger. I want all of us to give the best answer we can to the call to be part of what I know we all intend for our future. And you will never catch me wearing that red hat, I promise you. Now, although Sam Wright's hymn, We Would Be One, was written for youth, it still inspires a shining hope in a grandpa like me. For one thing, my granddaughters keep talking about coming back to RE when we're reliably back in person. We Would Be One is an aspirational hymn of both love and justice. And we all know you can't have one without the other. I affirm that in every email that I send, with two quotes at the bottom. The first comes from Cornel West in his book, Brother West. He says, justice is what love looks like in public. And the second is from Martin Luther King Jr. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. As I read it, the hymn We Would Be One goes beyond the wish for oneness and declares its intentions to build the beloved community, to make tomorrow better than today, to serve love and justice, striving to make all people free. As we sing it now, let's declare our intention to do more than talk about these things. Let us embody them. So may it be.